Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a very special Oklahoma sports scene. I'm Chris Link, along with the coach, Gil Cloud, our TPS Hall of Fame athletic director. Coach, this is show by my count number 76 of our series, and a very special anniversary for us.
We're starting our third year.
Wow.
Would you ever have thought?
I know it.
Who would have thunk it?
Exactly.
3 years, but we really appreciate all of our sponsors and our viewers who watch every week. And all of our guests that we've had. We had some great guests.
Really have had. I hope you had a chance to follow us on Oklahoma sports scene, especially now. We talked about this, Coach, several times with the limited time, unfortunately, all our local sports guys are getting. I was empathize with them. This gives people time to come in here and talk to 6, 8, 10 minutes and just tell some great stories.
Well, and that's the essence of it. You know, we have TJ Eckert on today, and he's going to tell us, what you've told us.
Yeah.
They get a minute and a half.
It's tough. It really is.
How in the world can you report on a minute and a half all the things going on in the Tulsa sports market, the Northeast Oklahoma sports market? You just can't. So this show gives you that opportunity to get that in depth.
You know, looking ahead, our final show of the month of September comes on the 5th Monday of the month. Now, we have a month that has 5 Mondays. We do what we call a recap, a highlight show. So maybe Coach will actually look back a little further and take some of the best guests we've had through the first 2 years.
2 years, I think so. It'd be great because, some of the people with Billy Sims and Pat Jones and Barry Switzer and Joe Castiglione, Mike Holder, Derek Gregg. We've had Philip Montgomery. It's been a plethora of stars in Oklahoma athletics.
And we got a star-studded lineup for you again here today. Coach, I'm going to talk about the start of the 150th season of college football. Some excitement, some surprises, not to be unexpected on the first week. Mike Malega, the Tulsa Drillers. It's their president, general manager. We're here to talk about the Drillers clinching the second half Texas League North Division Championship, and now on to the playoffs, the semifinals against the Arkansas Travelers this week. TJ Eckert, as Coach mentioned, the sports guy from Channel 8, their anchor and reporter, will join us here. And then Barry Lewis, Tulsa World Prep writer, will be here to talk high school football the first 0 week. Also to help us present our very first, for the month of August, the Oklahoma Prep Player and Coach of the Month, Don Carlton, the Don Carlton Honda ownership, and Sami, Khalaf, their general manager. They'll both be here to present the plaques and talk about their involvement now with Oklahoma sports team. But Coach, let's kick it off with the kickoff of the 150th season of college football.
Well, what a weekend.
Oh, man.
And some of the college 0 week.
Yeah, that's right.
They got to play. And then, of course, with the feature game on Sunday night, Oklahoma playing University of Houston. What a weekend. I was just so excited about being able to watch college football again. But some of the upsets that occurred, a couple of big ones. Tennessee probably the biggest one.
Boy.
Georgia State. You pay somebody $1 million to come to your house to beat you.
Yeah, I know it.
Oh my goodness.
They 28-point underdogs, and they beat Tennessee 38-30. My alma mater, Mizzou, the SEC team, losing at Wyoming. That was a little surprising, 37-31. UCLA's coming to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's going to UCLA in a couple of weeks. They lost their opener to Cincinnati at Cincinnati, 24-14. Auburn, they look their true freshman quarterback, Bo Nix, had a winning touchdown drive in the final seconds as they beat Oregon. And once again, the Pac-12 was like, for whatever against the SEC. They can't win those big games.
I tell you what was good, though, the Big 12 did well.
They did. Swept it, Coach.
They did well. Les Miles gets his first win at Kansas.
That's right.
And I was really happy for Mac Brown. As old as he is, to dance.
68 years old, I know it.
In the dressing room, he was tickled to death. So there were some big wins this first weekend.
His first game since 2013 when he left the University of Texas, now the head football coach at North Carolina, where he was a coach earlier in his career. And they beat their rival South Carolina, surprise, 24-20. Then it all ended up last Monday night, as we tape on Tuesday morning this week, with Notre Dame getting by Louisville 35-17.
And that game was a little bit closer. There were a couple of key mistakes that Louisville made. And a couple of key penalties, I think, that turned the tide and the momentum in the game.
Let's talk about our Big Four football teams now. It started on Friday with University of Tulsa up at Michigan State, losing 28-7. But, Coach, they got a nice paycheck, and it seemed to me, boy, most of that was self-destructive on TU's part.
They were, and I tell you what, they played really well.
Oh, yeah, one touchdown, right?
I thought the defense played well. Yeah. And there was brilliant times on the offensive front where they played pretty well. I just really think that if they can stay healthy, they're going to be a better football team than they were a year ago.
Talking to Dr. George Bauman, their team physician, and he did say they came out of the game healthy, which is a good sign to play a very physical team like Michigan State. TU's offense, though, was horrendous. 80 yards of offense, their lowest since 1987, minus 73 yards rushing on the day against one of the top defenses in college football. But they go ahead and kill them, Coach. Any game. 6 turnovers, 5 fumbles, an interception, and 8 penalties, 89 yards.
You can't give it up to a team like Michigan State at Michigan State and expect to win the game. Exciting start, though, for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. They played later on Friday night at Oregon State. And I'll tell you that Sherman Hubbard is the real deal, and a freshman quarterback finally got him on the field, and he's a star. I tell you, he's a stud. I was really impressed with him. I mean, he's a good-looking youngster, and Hubbard, of course, had a great night running the football. Reading the Tulsa World this morning, it was interesting that Hubbard may not stay here very long, because of his draftability in the NFL draft. He had 221 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game against Oregon State. And the freshman quarterback, Spencer Sanders, Mike Gundy had us all in suspense. Who was he going to call on? Spencer Sanders got the call. It was a good call, Mike. 204 yards, 3 touchdowns passing. Sanders, the first freshman to start at Oklahoma State, by the way, since 2012 with West Lund. They have their home opener this Saturday. They'll take on McNeese State at 6 o'clock with the Cowboys. And Saturday, Portland State, Arkansas wins that one 20-13. Not real impressive there, Coach. And I'll tell you what, when you play down a level and you only win by 7, I don't know about the Razorbacks. We have a lot more on the Sooners. We sent Michael Knight down to the opener in Norman and got some features we'll kind of show you a bit later on here. But obviously they defeated Houston 49-31, and the superstar was Jalen Hurts. It looks like he's got him going again. Lincoln Riley brings in these transfers, and he was incredible. He counted for 508 yards of total offense, an all-time record for a first start at OU, and 6 touchdowns. Can you imagine if, in fact, the third transfer quarterback in a row at Oklahoma plays as well as he plays and wins the Heisman Trophy? 3 in a row. And it's never happened. And ESPN just released their Heisman Watch early this week, and guess who's number 1? Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, number 1 in the Heisman very early on in the season, of course. Next for OU is they'll have an open date. Oh, no, they play South Dakota. South Dakota, How bad is that game? It's on pay-per-view. So that's 6 o'clock down in Norman here. NFL kicks off their 100th season of football Thursday night. The Packers, the Bears, kind of the historic matching of the couple of the original teams. Yeah, the Pack and the Bears. Yep. On Sunday, Coach, some of our area teams want to pay attention to. Well, I'm going to tell you, the Giants and the Cowboys, that's a heck of an opening game for the Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott's flown back to Dallas, right, from Cabo? I hear he's flying back. But I also heard that Jason Garrett said it didn't make any difference. He didn't show up till Saturday. He's playing. He wouldn't be surprised at all. We have also the Chiefs of the Jaguars, your local fans. And, of course, everybody in this area now has suddenly become Cleveland Brown and Arizona Cardinal fans, Coach. Boy, with those 2 quarterbacks, I imagine they will. Baker, of course, they take on the Titans, and Arizona will take on the Detroit Lions. Sunday night, it's Steelers and Patriots, the Sunday night game, and the Monday night game. They have 2 games, a doubleheader to start on September the 9th. Texans at the Saints, and the Broncos and the Raiders. Well, Tulsa Drillers are on their way to the playoffs. In fact, as we have this show on the air, they'll play their first game against Arkansas in the best-of-5 series in the North Division, the semifinals, hoping to get onto the title where they can hopefully defend their first championship they had in 20 years. The 2018 title went to the Tulsa Drillers. Well, I sure hope they can master Arkansas. Arkansas has been a thorn this year in the Drillers' side, and hopefully they'll play the first 2 games on the road, and then they'll come home for 2 games, and we'll see. But Scott Hennessy does a great job of preparing his team at the end of the year, so they should be peaking right now. And the Roughnecks, August home matches coming up. They had a draw with Las Vegas, 1-1. Then they came on and won against Fresno, 2-1 here in Tulsa. Their first win since the end of April. So we were thrilled for the Roughnecks to get that victory. By the way, the Roughnecks, it was an amazing performance there. They came back and after they upset Fresno, one of the top teams in the United Soccer League, 2-1. And this had a brilliant goal by Rodrigo da Costa. Chested the ball down to himself and did that incredible bicycle kick up over his head into the net. Then they got the game winner
in the 2-1 in the second half. So fantastic for the Roughnecks. Get that victory. They now are 5-13-8 with 23 points. They're on the road September 4th. They'll play at El Paso. Then it's September 7th at Rio Valley. Then they come home. Home matches for the Roughnecks in the month of September. Orange County, that'll be on September the 21st, and September the 25th with San Antonio. OU football season open, the 125th season of Oklahoma football. We have a special feature for you coming up next on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Cheers. Cheers. All right, y'all, how's everything tasting? That is awesome.
I come bearing gifts of the liquid variety.
Bricktown Brewery. Come and get it.
Whether it's a wedding, birthday, family reunion, or company event, give your next big event a unique country feel at our Red Barn Event Center located just north of Tulsa. We feature plenty of party room inside and out for up to 350 guests, a huge open floor space, and even a big stage. The Red Barn features a full kitchen, separate bride and groom dressing areas. Outside weddings are beautiful under our 100-year-old pecan tree. For your next big event, with a do-it-yourself wedding, the Red Barn Event Center is the perfect choice. Booking now for future events.
Hey Mo, have you seen the MDX? I'm pretty sure it was in the showroom when I left yesterday.
No, sorry, Jen. I haven't seen it.
Are you positive you haven't seen it?
Hey Mo, I went ahead and pulled the MDX back up on the showroom for it. Oh, hey Jen.
Haven't seen it, huh?
Oklahoma Sooners opened the 125th year of football in Norman, Oklahoma, with an outstanding win over the Houston Cougars, 49-31, for a Sunday night game and a national TV audience.
And the Sooners celebrated with a hat and a Coke. And also we sent our guy Michael Knight down to Norman to catch some of the color excitement of the opener, along with some post-game comments.
told the guys in the locker room, one of the first things I said was, there's going to be a lot we want to do better from this game. A lot that we got to do as far as penalties, as far as finishing the game, maintaining our intensity and our focus on all three sides. But the day that we get tired of winning, then I'm done. And so we beat a good football team there tonight, without a doubt. And these first games are challenging for a lot of people, certainly when you're playing a new staff and then obviously having a lot of new pieces on our football team as well. And I thought our team really responded well. Really proud of the way that we played the majority of the football game. I thought our defense flew around, was extremely active, extremely disruptive for the majority of the game. Had a couple of penalties, obviously, that let drives continue on when we had them in some pretty tough situations. A couple busted calls, some things that we just have to do better on that side. But I love the way our guys flew around, and I loved how disruptive our front was, especially. So got to keep building on that. But a lot of positives there.
I think coming into it, we prepared well. We had a nice game plan. Kind of some things where you're kind of thinking it's unpredictable, see some things that we really didn't expect to see sometimes. But, we did some really good things out there tonight, and there's a lot of things that we need to improve on. And we got to take that next step. I'd say it's just I was in a situation or a position where I'm back where I'm supposed to be. I can't sit here and say I ain't done it before because, it ain't like I'm maybe a little rust. I don't know. But being out there back with this team, with this group, it was very exciting, and I enjoyed it a lot.
At Bricktown Brewery, we're known for our famous original craft beers like Single String Stout and Bluesberry Ale. Did you know we also brew our own root beer at our Oklahoma City brewhouse? It's called Attaboy Root Beer, and you'll love it no matter what your age. Just ask for a Bricktown Kids menu with all the favorites for our guests 12 and under. Bricktown Brewery opens every day at 11 a.m.
TU fans, football season is here, and the Golden Hurricane has one of the best home schedules in school history. Season tickets are on sale now, or purchase our 3-game mini plan. The plan includes in-state rival Oklahoma State, along with Navy on Military Appreciation Game, and 2-time defending league champion UCF, all for only $90. To get your tickets, call 918-631-GO-TU or visit TulsaHurricane.com/tickets.
Each week we talk about the GTR, and we know for a fact that Forrest Cameron and his wife Sharon put out a tremendous paper. Well, I brought all 6 of them today. I'd like for you to see them. The Union Boundary, and here is the Owasso Rambler. And if you live in Bixby, how about the Bixby Breeze or Broken Arrow, the Broken Arrow Express, Jinx, District Gazette, and then of course the Tulsa Midtown. All of those, the GTR. If you haven't had an opportunity to read one, do it, and you'll be proud of it.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene, and now we have the sports writer for the Tulsa World, and a guy that covers a lot of high school football and basketball, Barry Lewis. Barry, welcome to Sports Scene.
Thank you, Gil. Chris, it's always great to be here.
He's a rock. We're going to have a lot of segments coming up. He's also going to announce our first player and coach of the month with Don Carlton Honda. And then we have a little special surprise bonus for him, too, coming up here. But first, Barry, let's talk your impressions of the start of the high school football season. I'm trying to figure 368 teams in the state of Oklahoma.
Well, it was a good weekend overall for the Oklahoma teams in the Border Brawl.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma teams acquitted themselves well, as Jenks was the real surprise for me.
Yeah.
Not that they won, because I expected that they'd win against Mansfield Legacy, but I thought it was going to be a toss-up game.
Yeah.
Jenks lost so many starters, graduated so many starters from last year's team, have a new quarterback, but they just totally dominated Legacy, 38-0. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense was awesome. The offense was efficient. That is a very encouraging sign for the Jenks Trojans and their fans. And then, of course, Broken Arrow dominated Mansfield, which I thought they would, 42-13, just like they did last year. Bixby,
wow.
wow. I thought going in, Timberview might be the best of the Mansfield teams, and they still might be, although I thought it was a toss-up between them and Lake Ridge. But Bixby putting 77 points on the board. Mason Williams, 8 touchdown passes, over 400 yards. Wow, and Brendan Presley had a big night. We'll be talking about him later on. And then...
only 2 losses. Sand Springs lost to the Mansfield Summit Jaguars. That was 41-7. And unfortunately, I did the game for KRMG Radio, but Union lost in the last 4 seconds on a 36-yard field goal by the Mansfield Lake Ridge team.
Yes, but still there were some encouraging signs for Union there. They have a new quarterback this year and a lot of new starters. And for them, they had a big night on offense. They just got to fix some things on defense, as Coach Fred would admit. But I think there's a lot of good things that Union can take out of that game, although my goodness, what a heartbreaking way for Union to start this year after ending it in a heartbreaking fashion last year, a couple of last-second losses.
Yeah. I did both those games, too, by the way, Coach. Coach, your impression of your TBS schools after that 0 week?
Well, I thought really impressed with Central.
Yeah.
You know, scoring 47. Of course, they have a quarterback that can throw it, and they have speed on the edge, and so I think they've got a chance. Tickled to death for Hale, even though they beat one of our other schools. I was there, and it was 47-0 at halftime. And
that's Webster, right?
They beat Webster over on the east side.
D'Angelo Washington is a great athlete. He is very impressive for Hale, their quarterback. He does it all for Hale.
He does it all. He literally does. Punt returns, passes, runs the ball, and I think overall we were pretty happy. I think we were 3-2.
And Tulsa McLean won, right?
That was
big
a huge
win.
32-21
on the
victory.
road at Victory.
Yeah.
And that's always a good thing. So
now what about Booker T? I was surprised they got shut out. I didn't think anybody shut out Booker T.
Well, I talked to Brad this morning, and he indicated that they're pretty talented. Said North
Little Rock.
North Little Rock is really, really talented, and so they got some things to fix. But I think they'll be okay when we get into the regular season.
North Little Rock, depending on the poll, is either number 1 or number 2 in 7A in Arkansas. They won the state championship in 2017 and was the runner-up last year. So we knew that was going to be a really tough test going in, but it did surprise me that Booker T couldn't at least get some points on the board.
They had a couple of interceptions and some fumbles and a couple of penalties, I think, that hurt them. So, it's early.
But they're worth watching. Just that sophomore quarterback at Booker T is special.
Well, Gentry Williams is a very talented athlete. He's already been offered by OU and some others. He's one of the best sophomores in the state. And before the end of the season, Booker T started last year with the loss to North Little Rock. So they're going to be okay, although it doesn't get any easier for them this week going to play at Bishop Kelly.
Of course, we go all across the state of Oklahoma now. Any other teams that kind of caught your interest from the west side or over here in the 0 week opening?
I tell you what, Metro Christian in the Tulsa area, still staying in the Tulsa area, they had a big win over Broken Bow. It was a matchup of one of the best offenses in 2A and one of the best passing quarterbacks in the state, Asher Link, against one of 4A's best defenses, Broken Bow. Had 6 shutouts last year, returned a lot of their starters. And Metro Christian, it didn't surprise me Metro put 35 on the board against Broken Bow, although I guess it'll surprise me a little because Broken Bow has a great defense. But it was Metro's defense that really caught my eye. Wow. Broken Bow had like 3 first downs the entire game. So when you put the best passing quarterback in the state, who also had a big night running the ball, as Coach Jared McCoy says, he's their fastest in the 100 and 200. And then you combine that with the Metro defense. Metro looks like a favorite in 2A.
2A, yeah, good. Well, west side of the state, any scores surprise you over there?
There weren't really any major surprises. I would say, Tuttle got off to a really impressive start. In 4A, they certainly look, they're the favorite going in to defend their championship. So I think Tuttle got off to a good start. But really, a lot of the marquee games were on the east side of the state. Wanted to mention Owasso with a huge win at Bentonville West.
Right.
That was a really big start for them. And then they've got a blockbuster game this week against when they host Fayetteville.
Fayetteville.
And this is really one of the best weeks of the high school
true,
football
yeah.
season across the state. There may be more really good matchups across the board this week than in any other week. It's close between this week and next week.
I'm doing that Broken Arrow at Union game on Friday night.
And I'll be there too. Yeah.
Number 1, Broken Arrow, of course, got to a good start there. Then, of course, week after that, well, it's a big one, of course, Union Jenks as always.
Yes, that will be next week. Union Jenks on the same night. Broken Arrow's hosting Owasso in the Patriot Bowl. So you got the Mid-First Bank Backyard Bowl.
That's right.
And then you've got the Patriot Bowl. So.
And that game, the Union Jenks, of course, is always held at Chapman Stadium. Not this year, though. It'll be at Tuttle Stadium at Union.
It's at Union Tuttle Stadium because T was unavailable, and they also wanted to hold it at Union Tuttle Stadium because this is the last year before the renovations.
They were talking about the renovation, Coach. They told me
last time.
Yeah, Union's got to spend $40 million renovating that side of the brand new press box and the elevator.
22 for the stadium.
Oh, stadium, okay.
Yeah, 22 for the stadium.
Yeah.
They're going to build a fine arts room down at the end down there and everything. And talking to Kurt Hartzler, the superintendent, and Emily Barkley, Kurt called me before they made that bond issue, and he said, "Now, Coach, I don't want you to be mad at me, but we're going to tear down the west side of the stadium because we were there when it when it was built." And I said, "Hey, progress is progress," and it's the same antiquated press box that we had in 1976.
Well, it was good back then.
Oh, absolutely.
Now not as good.
No, it wasn't. It had no bathroom and no elevator. It was terrible.
Well, that's true.
It'll be better though. Hey, Barry, don't go anywhere. We're going to move over here. We're going to bring in Don Carlton and Sami Khalaf from Don Carlton Honda and present our very first Oklahoma Prep High School Coach and Player of the Month. Stay with us on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Winston, tie or bow tie? Good choice.
Sammy, they're here.
Good morning, welcome to Don.
Come on, you guys. What did you think they were here for?
Well,
It's the Honda Summer Spectacular Sales Event going on now at Don Carlton Honda.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
The Eschbach 6E Ranch on 800 acres north of Tulsa invites you to know the benefits of miniature Herefords. The 6E has always been committed to providing the finest quality meats. Our hormone-free beef is always on grass, then grain-fed the last 90 days to that perfect mix of marbling and taste. We will deliver the animal to a USDA-inspected facility. All you have to do is pick up your vacuum-packed processed meat. Fill your freezer with the finest quality beef at the best price. We also specialize in registered miniature Herefords for breeding and show. Call the 6E Ranch today.
Very pleased, Oklahoma Sports Scene, to welcome our new sponsor of our Oklahoma Prep High School Coach and Player of the Month. That is Don Carlton Honda. Wow, what a thrill to have himself. Don Carlton, the father. Don, great to see you, my friend. And Sami Khalaf, General Manager at Don Carlton Honda.
Nice seeing you.
Don, give us some of the history, and it's a long history, of Don Carlton Honda in Tulsa.
Well, we started out in, like I said, 1979,
right?
79,
Wow.
on 11th Street, and we was very successful there. And then we moved down to Memorial and stayed there for 2 or 3, no, probably what, 5 years.
Yeah.
And then we built a new building down on south of there.
And your daughter
we're
Brenda
still there,
is
yeah.
now running the dealership, right?
Yeah, and right now, Brenda, my daughter, is the owner running of the store.
The guy that does a lot of the work, though, this one right here, Sami Kell. You want a deal? You go see Sami at Don Carlton Honda. Sami, how many years there? Talk about Don Carlton, the products now of the Honda.
Well, I've been with the family since 1985. Like Mr. Carlton said, we've been in Tulsa since 1979.
Yeah.
And Honda has always had such a great reputation, great service, and of course, real reliability.
You said it. That's the story behind Honda, and that's the reason we're very happy to have the Honda franchise and servicing the people here in Oklahoma, especially in Tulsa and Green Country.
And of course, closeout times 2019 winding down. When do you expect the 2020s?
Some of the 20s they're already out, and the rest of them they should be coming in the next 60 to 90 days. And we're having right now a great 2019 model clearance sale.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You know, we've owned one since I think '87. I think we told you that story.
Yeah.
But ever since, you know, my wife has always driven a Honda.
Yeah.
And we have a Pilot now. And I tell you what, they're outstanding cars and no service. I mean, it's just if you do everything right on the money, you take care of it. It's really good.
And you've also been so involved with the community. That's why we so appreciate you guys being involved now with our special award. Barry Lewis, of course, our Tulsa World incredible prep writer, always selects our top athlete and coach every month. Barry, you have an announcement to make here. We'll let these guys talk about it. We'll present plaques to them, too.
All right. Our athlete of the month is Bixby's Brennan Presley, and he's had an incredible last 3 years doing it all for Bixby as a receiver, defensive back, and kick returner. He's off to an awesome start in 2019. Last week against Mansfield Timberview, he caught a career-high 17 passes for 237 yards and 6 touchdowns in a 77-44 win over Timberview. Just an incredible start to the season. So Brennan Presley, an Oklahoma State commit, is our player of the month.
And the coach of the month, kind of an interesting story here. I know it makes Gil Cloud smile.
Yes. We thought a little bit outside of the box for this one. It's Central boys basketball coach and athletic director Eli K. Brown III. Due to his efforts, he spearheaded an effort that landed Central a $100,000 grant for its athletic program, and that meant, among other things, the relaunching of the volleyball program and girls soccer program. And Gil, I know you'd probably like to talk more about Coach Brown.
Eli has done a tremendous job at Central. He was our TPS Athletic Director of the Year this past year. And his work during that time, having to take over for Tammy Altaffer, who actually succumbed to leukemia during the year, Eli did a fantastic work. But then to produce the 90-second commercial that the Dr. Pepper people thought was the best in the country, and to get the $100,000 is certainly a game changer for Central, to have $100,000 worth of new equipment, and to bring back 2 sports obviously really helped us with Title IX.
Well, we have plaques we'll present to the coach and the player. We can't give them a Honda. Not allowed that. We do have something for you guys, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Presenting here at Oklahoma Sportscene.
Guys, I'm going to tell you, we want you to enjoy yourself at Bricktown.
Gift certificate, Bricktown Brewery here, for Don and Sammy.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for your sponsorship and your support, Don. Done a great job through the years. Been a great friend. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Thanks, Sammy.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Barry, thank you as always.
Thank you.
We're going to come back with Mike Malega and talk about the Tulsa Drillers. They're on their way back to the playoffs.
The service is amazing.
Food's delicious.
I love the avocado fries.
I love the energy.
Local beer, great food, truly friendly service.
Look all right for you?
Bricktown Brewery, come and get it.
Man, look, for us, Cowboy football is way more than just Cowboy football. This is who we are. We come to Boone Pickens Stadium as many, but in this sea of orange, we stand as one. And we all know what it looks like. The crowd roaring, arms waving, and bullet flying. It's the paddles popping, the shotgun firing, and the fans rocking. It's our passion, our heart, our family, and our team. Because at Oklahoma State, it's who we are.
Robertson Tire has been your local tire expert since 1962. Now at RobertsonTire.com, it's easier than ever to get a customized quote. And with our price match guarantee, you can be sure that you're getting the best price. For more information, visit RobertsonTire.com.
What do you mean you forgot? Mike Malenga, Coach.
Gee, buddy, Christmas.
No, I did send you. Oh, yeah, I didn't send you a reminder. All right, Mike. Well, so we got a good replacement, though. I remember Barry Lewis is here. He covers the Drillers all year, so we'll talk to him. We'll catch you next week after you win the semifinals. All right, thank you, Mike. Sorry about that, Barry. You're almost a little more time here now. Let's talk about, again, Drillers baseball. What a heck of a comeback there. They were kind of, they don't know if they're going to make it or not.
Yes, it looked about a month ago, and you weren't sure if they're going to make it, but then they really kicked it into gear. Won 20 of their last 29 games to win the second half title for the third consecutive year, and now they're looking to get to the Texas League Championship Series for the third consecutive year.
You know, isn't that indicative, though, of the coaching staff? Don't you think that they bring them along and they really improve at the end where they make the run?
Drillers manager Scott Hennessy, there is no doubt that he has made a big difference in the Drillers on the field ever since he took over in late July of 2017. It was just like a switch was flipped at that point. Remember when the Drillers won like their first 15 home games after he became manager? Just an incredible run. And I was telling Dennis Higgins, the Drillers radio announcer, before a game recently, that I feel that Scott at this time of the year just wills the team to win. He's got that because he was a longtime high school and college coach. To me, it isn't just about, for him, it's just not about player development. It is also about winning in the minor leagues. And I think too many longtime professional managers and coaches in the minor leagues, it's just they think all about player development and forget sometimes that winning is important too, or can be important. For Scott, both are important. So I think there are times that he wills the team to win, and it shows on the field. The players love him.
You know, and you think about that, Barry, it's going to be hard to keep him in Tulsa?
I think it probably will be because teams because the parent Los Angeles Dodgers have been so successful, teams first look to the Dodgers coaching staff, as was the case with Chris Woodward and the Texas Rangers over this past offseason. They look to the Dodgers coaching staff for potential managers and coaches. And I think because of the Dodgers' success, you'll probably see that happen again this offseason as well. And then that will open up spots on the Major League coaching staff. And I think Scott, who's been interviewed in the past for a Dodgers Major League coaching spot, I think I could very easily see him being promoted to become a coach on the Major League staff.
Scott Hennessy's resume is incredible. You mentioned took over late in the second half of the season 2017, led them to the championship series, and heartbreaking. We thought they had it wrapped up and lost in the 5 games, right?
Yes, they jumped off to a 2-0 lead in the 2017 finals and were coming home for the last 3, and they lost them all to the Midland Rockhounds, which that was their 4th consecutive pennant. So that was an incredible Cinderella story for Midland coming back. But then last year, Tulsa got back in the championship series and won it all, sweeping San Antonio. And this year, they've got another chance to get to the championship series again and repeat. If they get to the championship series, it'd be the first time ever they made it to 3 finals in a row. But first, they've got to get past the Arkansas Travelers. The Travelers had the Drillers' number during the regular season, but as we've seen in the past in pro sports, like it seems like every year with the Oklahoma City Thunder, a regular season series against a particular team doesn't have anything to do with what's going to happen in the playoffs a lot of times.
And they started the course against Arkansas. As we have the show on tonight, Wednesday night, 10 o'clock is our first airing. They've already played game 1. They'll play game 2 at Arkansas on Thursday. Then they come to Tulsa, right, for 3, 4, and 5 if necessary, of course, the rest of the weekend.
Yes, on Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night as well. In the last 2 years, the finals have gone the distance. So there's a very good possibility that the Drillers could be hosting 3 games this weekend.
Well, Tulsa celebrated their first championship in 20 years last season. Barry, how many seasons have you been covering these Tulsa Drillers? What have you seen?
I'm pretty well, with perhaps a little bit of a break here or there. I've been covering them every day since 1990.
Wow,
so
yeah.
I've seen a few games.
Yeah.
As many games as Mike Mullega, or more. Yeah. What's your take? Can they get past Arkansas, and can they go all the way to the end?
I've got a feeling, and in fact, this is a story. I talked to Mike for a story in Wednesday's Tulsa World, and he had a good feeling about this Drillers team because it's very reminiscent of the last 2 years when the Drillers just had a lot of momentum winning the second half, and they carried that over into the playoffs. And so I know, speaking for Mike, I hope he doesn't mind, as he said in the article, he's got a really good feeling about this Drillers team that they can get past Arkansas in the first round of the playoffs.
Your impressions of the season here, of course, as far as attendance goes, another great season at One Oak Field.
Again, taking words out of his mouth.
Yeah, sure.
He said it was a great year, and it certainly was at the gate. They improved 24,000 over last year, and that got them. Last year was a bit of an off year at the gate, not on the field, obviously. Right. But they improved 24,000 fans this year, and that got them back to the level they were in 2017. As Mike would say, there are a lot of factors involved in attendance. Got to have a little luck with the weather. Got to have some other factors play in. They were helped, as he admitted, by Clayton Kershaw's rehab stint here, because that not only gave them a great crowd for a Tuesday night back in April, but they were all able to promote that later on in the year with a great Clayton Kershaw jersey giveaway. Oh, yeah. So those are really nice looking. The Drillers do such a great job with their promotions. So that Clayton Kershaw stint here was also a nice boost for them.
And I think one of the key things was really as rainy as it has been.
Yeah.
They missed all those rains.
Yes. They only had 2 rainouts this year. So you got to have a little luck. That certainly helps, whether it's at the gate or on the field.
Right.
Well, if anybody can stand in for Mike Mullega, the general manager and president of Tulsa Drillers, it's our man Barry Lewis. He's done more baseball than anybody else around here. Barry, thanks for sticking along with us here.
My pleasure, Chris.
We're going to come back with TJ Eckert, Channel 8 Sports. Stay with us on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
At Bricktown Brewery, we're known for our famous original craft beers like Single String Stout and Bluesberry Ale. Did you know we also brew our own root beer at our Oklahoma City brew house? It's called Attaboy Root Beer, and you'll love it no matter what your age. Just ask for a Bricktown Kids menu with all the favorites for our guests 12 and under. Bricktown Brewery opens every day at 11 a.m.
Here at Robertson Tire, we love Tulsa. And over the past 50 years, we've partnered with local schools, churches, and charitable organizations. To learn more, visit us online at robertsontire.com.
Whether it's a wedding, birthday, family reunion, or company event, give your next big event a unique country feel at our Red Barn Event Center located just north of Tulsa. We feature plenty of party room inside and out for up to 350 guests, a huge open floor space, and even a big stage. The Red Barn features a full kitchen, separate bride and groom dressing areas. Outside weddings are beautiful under our 100-year-old pecan tree. For your next big event, with a do-it-yourself wedding, the Red Barn Event Center is the perfect choice. Booking now for future events. Joined on Oklahoma Sports Scene now by a good friend of ours, TJ Eckert. He's the sports reporter, anchor for KTUL-TV, Channel 8, ABC here in Tulsa. TJ, welcome to Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Chris, appreciate you having me back
I wanted to point out with Gil Cloud now, you have 6 minutes on the clock, which is what, about 5 sportscasts?
That's a new record for us. We never get 6 minutes, hardly ever, it seems like.
Gil and I are always on the case of the weather people, right?
Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Next week, this week, what's the weather forecast?
Yeah.
I would know, right? There's been so much weather on TV. I should already know the forecast, but
it's just going to be hot.
4 segments to say hot. If you got time to talk sports now, let's talk some sport. First, give us some of your background, TJ, as an athlete in this area at the Bixby Spartan.
Yeah, so I played at football at Bixby in 2012. Graduated in 2012, that is my last
2012.
season. 2011, yeah, I know. I'm a little young. Played quarterback there, played football and baseball. And then went to UCO, Central Oklahoma, and played football and golf there, actually.
Oh, nice.
So it was a good time. Good time.
And talk about getting to work here at Channel 8 and how that came about with Ryan Batchelor, of course, the sports director.
Yeah, of course, Ryan. Yeah, I started in Joplin out of college, Joplin, Missouri. Was there for about 8 or 9 months, and then, as you know, both sports positions at Channel 8 opened at the same time.
I know that.
John Moss. Yeah, I do. I know. John Moss and John Moss both left around the same time.
Yeah.
And so I played the desperation card and the local card, and it worked out. So I've been there for over a year now. It's been a lot of fun.
Great.
And your undergraduate work, did you major in broadcasting and everything?
Yes. So I actually went in, I always tell people this as a psychology major. Weird. And my first semester, I had general psychology as a class. Hated it.
Oh,
so
my
at
gosh.
that point, I knew, I'm not going to do psychology. So I got into professional media, and UCL has such a great program there, and intern at Channel 9 in Oklahoma City with Dean Blevins.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, I had a great time there, and he was a really big help for me getting into the industry.
Well, I tell you, it's as you well know, and Ryan, I appreciate the fact that don't try to be ESPN when you're local TV.
No.
Local sports is everything, and fortunately, as Coach knows, people love their high school and college sports here.
We have such a good sports scene here. I play on words. Sports scene. But just such a good sports scene here, especially in high school. And with high school football starting up, people are so passionate about it in the area. And we have such good football here. I was talking to some guys from the west side in Oklahoma City. They didn't really care much about high school football over there in terms of the Edmond schools and the Norman schools.
Right.
But I mean, Union, Jenks, Broken Arrow, all our small schools around here as well. Pretty passionate fan base.
What I think the market is, obviously, there is the two universities and the Thunder. And that takes most of the media away from the high schools. And here, I think we have an advantage because it is big-time high school athletics. There's no question. The facilities and the level of talent and the number of college recruiters that come in. I mean, there's a story every week.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
And well, the thing is, too, is it's not just the big schools either. You know, all our 6A schools, the West Side hasn't won a 6A state title since, 97? I think is what it is. But you look at it, too, we have schools, smaller schools as well, competing for state championships every year as well. Rejoice Christian in Class A was just their Regent Prep, an 8-man team, was just their last season as well. So lots of really good East Side teams all up and down the classes.
Appreciate the fact that Channel 8 did a pre-game special before the opening game with Houston. It's on ABC National on Sunday night. And so you have Rochley down there, Mark Bradshaw back here in studio and stuff. But those I've always enjoyed, though, and they give you a little more time to talk and look at things. There's nice features on there. It
was a lot of fun. You know, you mentioned the features. I went down and interviewed a couple Tulsa kids, actually, that are playing at OU. Pat Fields went to Union. He's a defensive back.
Right.
And he started this past weekend. And then Marquise Overton, who's a big defensive lineman, played at Jenks. And so it was kind of fun talking to them. They both dreamed of playing at OU, and so getting to finally do that was pretty cool for them. And then I went down that same day and spoke to Toby Rowland, the voice of the Sooners.
Right.
And I look up to him a lot because I'm an OU fan.
Sure.
All biased put out there, but he just does such a great job on the radio call. And so getting to talk to him, and I made the joke that when I called him, he sounded the exact same on the phone as he does on air. His on-air voice doesn't change. That's his daily voice. Right. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
What about this Sunday night thing? What do you think about that?
The game, I don't know how much I enjoyed the game on. I'm sure OU enjoyed it because it was the only game on TV that night, you know. But it felt a little weird. It was a little different. And now, as a player, when you play on a Sunday, now you're getting right back around and playing on a Saturday. It's a short week to prepare, so it's a little different.
But you know what's interesting about that, and I answered some of my friends on Facebook mentioned Sunday and everything, and having been in the college business for 20 years as a director. Some of our biggest wrestling crowds were on Sunday afternoon. They play college basketball on Sunday afternoon. And you know, weekend conference baseball and softball are played Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's just unique that it was football in this particular case. But it's good for us to get into a day that the NFL uses because they're getting into all the days of the high school.
Exactly. Didn't seem to bother OU much either. They look pretty good.
I was talking to Joe Castiglione before the game, and he said when they first contacted him, ABC, they said, okay, we're going to put you on national at 11 a.m. Saturday. No, you're not. We're not doing Saturday games at 11 o'clock anymore. He said, well, we'll see if we can work something else. And he says, they came back, how about Sunday? Said, can't do it in the mornings at church. How about prime times? Let me check with a few of our ministers around here. God said it's okay. So that's what they went with it. Obviously, it was a big success. Your impressions quickly of the Sooners then?
Jalen Hurts was impressive. He didn't do anything that wowed me. He just did the things that were necessary to win the game. And then the defense, I mean, I know they allowed 31 points, allowed quite a few yards, but they flew around to the ball. They tackled in open space, which is two things that didn't seem to happen at all last season. So it was a really good starting point. It gets a pretty good offense. So I was impressed.
Well, we have something for you before you leave us, TJ. Thank you for joining us here. And
Thank you, Chris.
Gil's got to get our Bricktown Brewery gift cards out here for you to put on the show. But also, congratulations to you and the work at Channel 8. There you go.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Best of Ryan Flashler. Buddy Pat Bone, the general manager. Just tell him, as I always tell Pat when I see him, more sports.
More sports, Pat. You know it.
Thank you, buddy. Remington Regional Park coming up next.
Hey, Mo, have you seen the MDX? I'm pretty sure it was in the showroom when I left yesterday.
No, sorry, Jen. I haven't seen it.
Are you positive you haven't seen it?
Hey, Mo, I went ahead and pulled the MDX back up on the showroom for it. Oh, hey, Jen.
Haven't seen it, huh?
The Eschbach 6E Ranch on 800 acres north of Tulsa invites you to know the benefits of miniature Herefords. The 6E has always been committed to providing the finest quality meats. Our hormone-free beef is always on grass, then grain-fed the last 90 days to that perfect mix of marbling and taste. We will deliver the animal to a USDA-inspected facility. All you have to do is pick up your vacuum-packed processed meat. Fill your freezer with the finest quality beef at the best price. We also specialize in registered miniature Herefords for breeding and show. Call the 6E Ranch today.
It's early, but already quite a jockey race up at Remington Park. Dale Day fills us in.
We are early into the 2019 Thoroughbred season at Remington Park, where the race to be leading jockey is as competitive as ever before. David Cabrera won his initial Remington Park riding title in 2018, riding the wave of success aboard Horse of the Meeting Welder and others. Winning the local title is gratifying for Cabrera.
It's always nice to win the title. You always look for that. What you mainly look for is get out of here, be on your feet, and as long as everybody's happy at you, that means you're doing good. Title less title, we don't worry much about that. But like I say, as a rider, you always want to get it anyway.
Defending his title will not be easy for Cabrera, as Richard Aramia is already trying to wrest the trophy from him. Aramia posted 4 wins on Wednesday, August 28th, with the 4th coming on an outstanding ride to get through on the turf rail aboard Lisbon. And the rail's open if Lisbon can squeeze through. Flycatcher trying to squeeze it just a tad. Lisbon's going to come on through anyway. Top of the stretch, race on, Bodifecta. Outside has the lead. Here's Know Your Options. Lisbon did get through. These 3 were the furlong to go. Lisbon inside. Bodifecta tough to the outside. Know Your Options trying to split rivals. Lisbon battling back. Bodifecta won't go away. Lisbon, Bodifecta, Lisbon by a head over Bodifecta. Aramia has 9 wins through just 4 race dates this season. Veteran Stuart Elliott, winner of the 2004 Kentucky Derby, Preakness Stakes, and Arkansas Derby aboard Smarty Jones, is also proving formidable in his first season in Oklahoma City with perfectly timed rides, such as his August 29th win aboard Zam Zam. And Zam Zam has a rail trip coming up and is flying into the lane. Alternative Slew there by a pair. Bodie on top. Here comes Zam Zam and Elliott off the rail and motoring now. Divine Soul into 4th. Late in the game, it's Alternative Slew. Bodie on top. Bodie on top puts a nose up front. Alternative Slew. Zam Zam's not finished, and Zam Zam is coming on willingly to get there by a nose. Elliott with a win per day so far, 4 wins in just 4 race days. Now into September, thoughts start focusing on the Oklahoma Derby later this month. The biggest race day of the season will begin at 3 p.m. on Sunday, September 29th, and feature more than $1.1 million in total purses, with the Grade 3 Remington Park Oaks also on the program. At Remington Park in Oklahoma City, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sportscene.
By the way, jockey Stuart Elliott remains red hot. He won 3 races on the Labor Day card at Remington Park. I saw Stuart Elliott win the Kentucky Derby 2004 with Smarty Jones. So good to have him all full time now at Remington Park. Well, the richest quarter horse race in the world, the 61st All-American Futuritas run on Labor Day at Ruidoso Downs, New Mexico. Jose Guzman and Rito Sosa's Mr. Jess Jenkins, the 13-1 long shot, upset the field there and won the All-American Futurity with its $1.5 million purse. Rusty Miracle won the All-American Derby on Sunday afternoon. And you have a little tie to that great race, the All-American Futurity, the richest quarter horse race in the world.
It was amazing. In 1968, my wife's uncle, Floyd Jones from Norman, Oklahoma, had a horse named Lycobird. And Lycobird was a $400 repossession The guy owed him $400. He said, I got this horse. Maybe you could take this horse. He took it, trained it, and it won the All-American Futurity. And that time it was $1 million.
Not a bad $40 investment. Huh? Time for parting shots now. Gil Cloud leads us off.
My parting shot today is about Art Briles, the former head football coach at the University of Baylor. It was interesting when all that went down in Waco, and Briles actually took all of the heat for it. He was fired. Of course, he was paid $15 million to be fired. However, last weekend, it started a new era in Briles football in Mount Vernon, Texas, as a high school head football coach. Paying him $82,000, just a little bit less than $15 million. There was a lot of concern in town about what's the risk reward with Art Briles. He comes out, wins 49-15, his first game of the season, and now they play their first home game this week. And the town's gearing up, the police are gearing up, and everybody is excited about Art Briles going to Mount Vernon, Texas.
So what do you think of college football's early season money games, or cupcakes, we like to call them? I know it drives a lot of fans crazy. Here's a good sample of some cupcakes from the opening week. Penn State, 79. Idaho, 7. Maryland, 79. Howard, nothing. It was 56-0 at halftime, by the way. 623 yards total offense for the Terps. 68 yards for Howard, whatever they are. Texas, San Antonio, 35. Incarnate Word, 7. Syracuse, 24. Liberty, nothing. Michigan, 40. And Middle Tennessee, 21. Truth is, almost every Power 5 team schedules these cupcakes, or so-called money games. Reason is the football championship subdivision likes to take on the football bowl subdivision, and then they get money, of course. 2019, all but 16 Power 5 programs have an FCS foe on the schedule. See OU versus South Dakota coming up. Oklahoma State versus McNeese State. In fact, the only Big 12 team that didn't schedule a cupcake team was the University of Texas. Alabama coach Nick Saban has campaigned to eliminate any BCS minor league teams or FCS minor league teams from playing the big boys in FBS. He says that as Alabama will host Western Carolina before they play Auburn. So it goes like that. What good does this do? Well, it does a lot of good for teams that need some money. Ask the University of Tulsa. They lost to Michigan State 28-7. They came home, though, with $1.2 million. Coach, your thoughts on the cupcakes and the money games?
Why don't you ask Tennessee what they think about Georgia State?
Ooh, wow. How
they
about
paid
that,
them to come in there and beat them.
That's
and that's the trap that happens.
Yeah.
Because you think you've got one that you can pay to come in, and schedules are done 4 or 5 years in advance. You have no idea the talent that will be on that campus.
True, yeah.
And that's what happened at Tennessee. I'd hate to be in the Tennessee football office today. It's going to be tough.
And it does some good, though, because think of that. These big checks, of course, mean they can fund other programs in the athletics. The women's sports especially get a big boost of that.
That's the only way. You know, I visited with J.D. Barnett. You remember J.D. Barnett when he was at one of the directional schools in Louisiana after he left Tulsa. And his AD told him, said, you've got to take 5 of those guarantee games to make the budget work.
Wow.
He said, you know, we got $3.5 million and we're 0-5.
Wow.
That's how it goes.
Hope you enjoyed this Oklahoma Sports Scene. Join us next week. A lot more to talk about. Again, glad to have you with us across Oklahoma. Thanks again.